My name is Vanessa Charkis, and for my video essay today, I'll be talking about how to make tamales. So I decided to do my video on making tamales since we're so close to the holidays, and my family usually makes these around this time. Making tamales with my family around Christmas is important because it is nice creating memories with my family while also continuing a long-standing Hispanic tradition which, according to Infusion's YouTube video, dates back to 8,000 to 5,000 BC. So what exactly is a tamale? Tamales are defined by a writer by the name of Claudia as a traditional Mesoamerican dish made of maize-based bread that is filled with a variety of foods and sauces, which is then wrapped in plant leaves and cooked by steaming or baking. Traditionally, my family loves to eat pork tamales, but for the purpose of the video today, I wanted to try using chicken, which my grandma did not approve of, but she said we can make them however we wanted. The YouTube video from Infusion also states that the tamal, singular form of tamales, can be filled with anything you desire, ranging from meat, cheeses, vegetables, fruits, and everything in between. So, a fair warning, I am by no means an expert. That is why I decided to ask my grandma to help me out today and kind of help guide me along the way. Okay, so let's begin. So the ingredients you'll need are the masa, which is the dough. Yeah, sorry for my editing skills. Not that great. Whichever filling you want. And which today we're using. And then whichever seasonings you may prefer, we're going to be using paprika, salt, cumin, garlic, and some of what I'd like to say are my grandma's secret seasonings that she likes to use, which are in a jar, which we'll see later on. So, I'd like to also add that in case anyone wants to know, my dad, he went to Mi Tienda, which is off in South Houston off of Spencer Highway, and I recommend going there at least once. And they usually have the bags of already prepared masa, which can come in either a white color or an orangey tint. I think my grandma told me that the orange looking one has more of a spicy flavor to it. So it just entirely depends on what you would like to make it. I mean, there's different ways of making it. We just decided to go the easier route and just already buy the pre-made one. So, the first thing you want to do is to soak your corn husk in some warm water. And here I'm making sure that they're all separated and submerged. And you want to just do this until the corn husks are pliable, so that they're easier to work with for when we start assembling the tamales with the masa and the meat later on. So this will take up to an hour or so. Some people even soak their corn husks overnight. It's entirely up to you. I think we did it for about an hour or two, and here I am about to start filling the pot. Just our way down. So you want to put something heavy or whatever you may have around the kitchen. Just make sure you know that they're all submerged. Okay, so the next step will be, of course, to cook the meat. Which, for the chicken, I'll just be boiling it, but if you're to use pork or beef, you can even cook that in a crock pot if you want. You don't have to add the seasonings right now, we'll do that a little later. Okay, so while the corn husks are soaking and the meat is cooking, we can start getting the masa together. What to do is add whatever seasonings we want to the masa. So this, cuts down a lot of the time, and I just wanted to make this as easy as possible. Okay. Okay, so here my grandma, she already added the entire bottle of paprika to the masa and some salt for taste. And This is just how my grandma, she's talking to my dad right now. This is just how my grandma likes to make them, but of course there are countless ways that tamales can be prepared. And this is just how my family does it. Once that is done and the spices have been completely incorporated, then we can just set that off to the side and move on to the next part. Okay, so after we set aside the masa, and we can check back on the meat, and once the meat's done cooking, we can chop it into bite-sized pieces. Since we're using chicken, or you can even shred it. Again, it totally depends on how you want to make them. So here we are, just chopping up the chicken. And once that's finished, we can move on to the next part. Okay, so for this part, my grandma's aware we're going to start using the spices. So we're using cumin, garlic, paprika, and here's that little jar of my grandma's secret seasonings that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, so we'll add that to the meat as well. And once that's fully incorporated, we will move on to assembling the tamales. Okay, so we're almost there, and this is where you want to start. We're going to start putting the tamales together. So first, you want to grab the corn husk and find the smooth side of it. So yeah, you just want to feel both sides of the corn husk. The corn husk, either has a rough or a smooth side. So the rough side is, you can tell just by running your finger across it, and you'll feel the ridges. And then of course the smooth side will be completely smooth. Okay, and once you have found the smooth side of the corn husk, and then you want to grab a spoon, a butter knife, anything really to spread the masa onto the corn husk. And the way that my grandma is doing it is you want to spread the masa about halfway down the corn husk. And you want to make sure, that the pointer end, like how my grandma's holding it, is facing away from you. And make sure to spread out the masa evenly and, downwards and kind of towards yourself. And of course, it's alright if, the masa gets on your hands and everything. It's gonna be a bit messy. So, once you got the masa onto the corn husk, then you want to add whatever filling you want to your tamale. So you'll see on the right hand side, my boyfriend, he's putting the chicken in his. My dad on the left is adding, some cheese that we found in the fridge. So we just started making whatever type of tamale we wanted. We even started making bean ones, and we used some leftover ham as well from Thanksgiving. And I think we were cracking up about that because we were just talking about whoever ends up with that is going to be a surprise for them. So, once you're done assembling all your tamales, you want to start placing them in a giant pot that we're going to end up steaming them in. So I want to say that my grandma uses a 30-quart pot. And what we're going to do now is we're going to place the tamales standing upright in the pot. So some people use maybe a small bowl and then line the tamales around it just so they can all stand up. Or some even just, there's all sorts of methods people use, but the one my grandma uses, she counts out a dozen tamales, and she'll just rip off strips, thin strips from the corn husk, from one corn husk, she'll make strips. And so she'll tie these strips together to create a rope to tie around the bundle to keep them all together. And she'll end up setting that in the middle of the pot. And then later on I'll show you, eventually she'll just start lining the tamales all around that, the center. And as you can see, she's doing that here. And then also, I want to say, just like an FYI, just do not throw any of the remaining corn husks that you may have, because like as you see in the pot, my grandma, she lined the bottom with the remaining corn husks. And also, once all of the tamales are placed upright in the pot, we're going to use any additional corn husk on the top as well, just to cover it up. Okay, and then the next thing you want to do is cover the tamales with a damp kitchen towel, as you can kind of see. And then pour about 2 cups of water for the bottom of the pot so that can help everything steam. And what you want to do is first bring the water to a boil and then lower it down after that to like a medium low. Our tamales took about 2.5 to 3 hours to cook, and we weren't really making too much anyways, so it just entirely depends on, how many you're cooking or wanting to make. And a way to test to see if your tamales are finished steaming, you can just take out one of them and just check to see if it can easily unroll itself from the corn husk. Then you'll know it's done. Okay, and the moment you've been waiting for, now, after that entire long process, we're finally done, and you can finally enjoy your delicious tamales. Okay, and also, this is my family that helped me out with making this video today, and I just want to add one more thing. The We Are Cocina site describes it best, that the history of the tamal demonstrates just how many identities they've had over the millennia. Tamales have been a cultural, ritualistic, and historical food for dozens of tribes, nationalities, and civilizations. But they have remained the same little warm pockets you unwrap like a gift around the holidays. They bring family, friends, and even strangers together. It's not Christmas in a Mexican or Central American home without them, and it's been that way for centuries. They are a staple in Latin culture, and the evidence shows that they're here to stay. And I just want to thank y'all for watching.